A cool down with two main systems should impact the northern U.S. and the southern U.S., leading to the potential for some snow for both areas, widespread rainfall, and the possibility of severe weather for the southeastern U.S. and even up to the Midwest. Everything you need to know on Project Gladiator. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Project Gladiator weekly overlook. I hope everyone is having an amazing week so far, and today I'll be covering the weather for the week of February 5th until around February 11th. I did record this, or I am currently recording this weekly overlook a little bit late, so I am sorry about that. But let's start off with the Jetstream pattern and generally where we are expected to see our weather for the week, including the potential for snowfall and rainfall. So what we're currently looking at is this trough that is currently leaving the U.S. out into the Atlantic Ocean down towards Florida, but also this fairly elongated low pressure system, which is leading to a lot of rainfall for the Los Angeles region, potentially even up to catastrophic flooding. However, there should be clearing here soon. Around tomorrow, we should see that system move out of the area, and that low pressure system should push off towards the northern United States, around the northern Central Plains, and into the northern Midwest. And from there, we shouldn't really see anything too crazy. We may be able to see the possibility of some rain showers and snowfall, but more on that later. But overall, we aren't really expected to see anything too crazy as that system moves out to Canada. And then we are expected to see another system, and this is probably going to be the main thing that we're going to watch as far as the possibility for severe thunderstorms. This low pressure system that is expected to impact a lot of the southern United States, including the southern Central Plains and the southeastern United States. And this is the main system that we're going to have to watch for the possibility of severe thunderstorms. This is expected to impact around the 11th and the 10th, potentially even into the early half of next week before moving out into the Atlantic Ocean around the 13th or 14th. Taking a look at our composite reflectivity in our simulated radar, I'm going to be going over the when and where you should be able to see our snowfall and our rain showers for the U.S. this week, starting off with what we're currently seeing across a lot of the western United States and the Pacific coast, with some of the flash flooding that we are currently seeing across some of the downtown Los Angeles region. We are expected to see that system move into more towards the east into some of the southwest portions of Arizona and New Mexico around the 6th and the 7th, with a lot of snowfall across the Rocky Mountains with that. And then we are expected to see that low pressure system associated with this move into a lot of the northern Central Plains around the 8th, with the possibility of some snowfall that may be back on the northern end of that system into portions of Wyoming, Montana, and North Dakota, South Dakota, potentially down into Nebraska, and that should move into the Midwest on the 9th as that system moves out into Canada. And then as for that second system that we are expected to see, we are going to be watching for the possibility of snowfall back into Kansas, Oklahoma, and northern Texas, as well as down into New Mexico as possible. But we should see the main risk of the possibility of some severe thunderstorms, as well as the possibility of very widespread rainfall on Sunday the 11th and into early next week on the 12th and the 13th, as this system clears out into Atlantic Ocean on the 14th or the 13th. Taking a look at our temperatures and how they may be affected by these two different systems and their cold fronts that may be attached to them. Starting off with the first system that we are expected to see impact the northern United States. You can already see that big rush of colder air out of the north here as that low pressure system and that cold front pushes off into Canada. That is going to introduce a lot of much colder air, potentially down below freezing for a very good portion of the week for a lot of the northern Central Plains in the Midwest. While a lot of this southern United States and potentially even into the Ohio River Valley is going to continue to stay warm until around Sunday, when we have that other system move through, which is going to clear out a lot of the heat that may be left in a lot of the southern United States, and is going to introduce much colder air into the southern United States. It may be able to recover pretty quickly, but we may be able to see a little bit of an extra push out of the north, which may keep temperatures down below freezing, especially at night, as far south as portions of Tennessee, North Carolina, Arkansas, and maybe even down into some of the Dixie states. So we are expected to see things get potentially much colder after the warm-up that we saw this week. So definitely make sure you're watching out for that. Taking a look at our total snowfall models and where we are expected to see the most snowfall for this week. I'm going to go to the end of the week here so we can see what the total accumulation may look like on the 11th. And it does look like the majority of our snowfall is expected to be across a lot of the Rockies, which does make sense as the first low pressure system and a lot of the rainfall that we saw early or late last week and early this week does move into a much colder environment in the Rockies that is going to freeze and fall down as snow across a lot of the Rockies. However, outside of the Rockies, again, we may be able to see the possibility of some snowfall for portions of Kansas, Oklahoma, potentially even down into New Mexico and northern Texas. But again, we may also see the possibility of some snowfall for a lot of the northern central plains and potentially into the Midwest with that first system. And then there may be the possibility for snowfall across some of the New England corridor. However, I haven't really checked to see how accurate that is with earlier model runs. We can actually take a look at what the WBC currently has issued as far as total snowfall for this week. So starting off with our day one outlook, currently we're looking at the outlook for the probability of snowfall greater than or equal to than 4 inches. So taking a look at day one, which is which is 1 day out, which is basically today in the format that the WBC issues these in. So at the day I'm recording this, so on the 5th of February, we are expected to see some heavy snowfall for some portions of the Rockies, mainly into Nevada and some of the more mountainous regions in eastern California. However, 2 days out, tomorrow on the 6th, we are expected to see quite a bit of heavy snowfall for a lot of the Rockies there, more widespread than today. And then for day 3 days out on the 7th, we are expected to see quite a bit of snowfall, potentially even extending down or extending as far east as into the northern central plains, but the majority of it should be across a lot of the Rockies. And I can only go 3 days out. However, again, we may be able to see some snowfall for some of the circled areas. Taking a look at our instability, or in other words, the fuel that we have for severe thunderstorms, and mainly going over the risk for severe thunderstorms that may be possible across the United States this week. Let's start off with that first system that we are expected to see move through the U.S. We are expected to see some instability. However, there's going to be 2 separate areas that we're going to have to watch for. One is going to be further towards the north, and one's going to be further towards the south on the 9th, where in both areas, I think severe thunderstorms should be fairly minor, if they are possible, very, very low end, because further to the north we have hardly any moisture above 50s dew points, which is terrible for severe thunderstorms. And then further south we hardly have any forcing for severe thunderstorms from the main trough. So in both areas, I think the main risk for severe thunderstorms is going to be fairly low end, but may be possible on the 9th, anywhere from Michigan into eastern Texas. However, again, the main risk that we are going to be watching for, the main area that we're going to be watching for severe thunderstorms is going to be on Sunday into early next week on the 12th and the 13th. The main area that we should see for severe thunderstorms, where we are expected to see a lot of forcing and quite a bit of instability, much more than the 9th, is going to be across the Mississippi River Valley back into eastern Texas. For the majority of it, that's the main area that we're going to have to watch for severe thunderstorms. However, we may be able to see the possibility of severe thunderstorms in portions of Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, and potentially even northern Florida, and potentially back into portions of central and western Texas. But again, the best threat for severe thunderstorms is probably going to be around the Mississippi River Valley back into eastern Texas. We can actually use supercell composite models to give us the general idea of what the risk for severe thunderstorms may look like across the Mississippi River Valley and potentially the 9th as well. Again, on the 9th, we may have at least some instability extended as far north as portions of Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan, but also down into eastern Texas, where we may be able to see the possibility of some marginal severe thunderstorms. However, again, the main risk for severe thunderstorms is going to be around the southern central plains into the Mississippi River Valley in the southeastern United States, mainly on Sunday into very early next week on the 12th and the 13th, where supercell composite models are indicating the risk for severe thunderstorms across a lot of the Mississippi River Valley and eastern Texas. That's all I really had to cover in today's forecast, but I would like to talk about the GoFundMe that we have for Project Gladiator real quick. Project Gladiator is for the purpose of designing and developing a storm chasing vehicle which will gather information and data from some of the strongest tornadoes, upwards of EF5 in strength. So if you do want to help with the cause and potentially lead to meteorological breakthroughs in weather technology, please check out the GoFundMe and consider donating. Now that I've told you the weather, please go down to the description and check out the socials for Project Gladiator and join the Discord for any updates on Project Gladiator. If you live in any of the areas I covered for this week, please stay weather alert for the time being. If you notice anything might have been wrong with this forecast, or you'd like to make a suggestion or ask a question, please leave a comment. I do read them. 2 other channels I highly suggest you check out are One Nation Weather and Weather Watcher. Weather Watcher does do forecast videos for Europe if you are interested in those, and hopefully I'll be able to see you guys on Wednesday with the Wednesday update.